Hey y'all, this is going to be my first pregnancy update video. I have tried so many times to film this video. I either didn't like my hair, I didn't like the footage, I didn't like the way my makeup looked, bows in the background being a nuisance. So hopefully this is the last and final cut. I debated a couple of times about splitting this video up into 2 parts just so it wouldn't be too long, but I think I can get everything all together. So I'm just gonna be telling you guys about my pregnancy from when we found out, all the way up until where I am as of yesterday, which is the 27-week mark, the last week of my second trimester. And then at the very end, I asked you guys for some questions on Snapchat and Instagram, so be sure to stick around for those. So let's go ahead and jump in the video before I start rambling. So we found out that we were expecting on December 15th, if I'm not mistaken. We found out both together at the same time. Tony was actually the one that suggested that I take the test, so I couldn't, do anything cute or super fancy to surprise him because he was right there with me. I didn't really have any early pregnancy symptoms like, vomiting or being sick or anything weird or anything that you see on TV. The only real symptom that I experienced was motion sickness or car sickness, but I experienced that on a regular day, or I did experience that on a regular day before I was pregnant, so that didn't really strike me as odd. The only other thing was that I was in Jacksonville with family. Everyone else was cold and I was hot, but again, I experienced that on a regular day before I was pregnant anyway, so it didn't really stand out to me. A couple of weeks after I got back to Nashville, after being in Jacksonville with my family, Tony just randomly suggested that I take a pregnancy test. I didn't really think anything of it because I was expecting that my next cycle was gonna start that following day, that Monday. So I was just like, yeah, I got one laying around, I'll go ahead and take it. It's gonna be negative, whatever. Wrong. I took the test within a couple of seconds. It was super dark, super pregnant, 2 lines there in full, no questions asked, but I was like, I need to be sure. Like, I was shocked, in a complete state of shock, doing this weird nervous laugh, but I needed to be sure. So I immediately sent him to, I think, like Walgreens or something to get another pregnancy test, not knowing at the time that there's no such thing as a false positive test, only a false negative test if there's not enough of the specific hormone in your urine at the time. So of course, when he came back with the other 2 tests, they were both super positive and super pregnant as well. So we were both just completely shocked because it was not planned, it was not expected. It seems like every time I try to plan something major in my life, God has, oh, hi, Bo. God has a weird way of telling me, no, girl, I run this show. You don't plan anything. And that was when Tony and I started dating, when we got married, when we were planning on starting to have kids. God just has a weird way of trolling me, I guess. So we were both super nervous, super shocked, just all these different emotions at once, but still extremely excited. We didn't want to tell anyone just because we wanted to be 100% sure, even though, like I said, there's no such thing as a false positive pregnancy test, but again, not knowing at the time. So we did hold off until I got a confirmed blood test back, a confirmed positive blood test back. Once we got that back, we did go ahead and tell our parents and then close friends. I think we waited until the 10-week mark to announce it to the world. They say that you're supposed to wait until the 12-week mark to, publicly announce your pregnancy, but I just believe that, God blessed me and my, healthy, able body with a successful pregnancy. So we decided to go ahead and share then, and it's probably been the smoothest pregnancy I've ever heard of in my entire life. I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any complications. I haven't had any morning sickness. The only major symptom that I've experienced is the first trimester fatigue. It is like no other thing that I've ever experienced, and I gave myself a hard time about it because I thought I was just being lazy. It was literally a chore some days just to get out of bed. But once I hit the once I hit the second trimester mark, it was like I was a completely different person, and that was when I knew that, okay, that was because of the pregnancy. I was not being lazy. So of course, when we shared with our friends and family, they were all super excited. Mostly everyone was team girl, and then we had a couple of stragglers with team boy. We waited to share with anyone until we told our parents first, and we waited to tell our parents until my mom was in Nashville. She was already planning a visit. So we just waited until we could tell her in person. Tony and I actually put a video together of our trip to the doctor to find out, and that is what we shared to my mom when she was here, so we could kind of watch it and experience that moment with her together. And then we sent the video to our parents and some close family members. You want to say it on 3?
1, 2, 3.
Wait, hold on.
3, 2, 1.
Let's do 1, 2, 3. It's
1, 2, 3. What'd you say? Do that? What?
We're gonna do 1, 2, 3. It's a blank. Tony! No, we're doing it again. I'm cutting this out. No.
Yeah.
No, we gotta tell it together.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
It's a
Girl.
It's a girl!
It's a girl.
It's a girl. Outside of that, it's really been a quiet, you know, just not boring pregnancy, but, you know, nothing weird or super crazy. Friends would always say, oh, you know, what's going on? I haven't, you know, talked to you in a couple weeks. The same thing that was going on last week. I'm just pregnant and waiting for my bump to get here. I feel like it took my bump forever to really show up and start showing out. I think I finally started showing, let me look back at my app here. I finally started showing at the 19-week mark, and it was just a little baby bump. Now my bump is large and in charge. I know it's not as big as what it's going to be, but it's definitely there. We do have a name picked out, and we are just so excited to meet her, so excited to just, you know, just love on her and take care of her and just make her our little princess. We are just ecstatic and cannot wait for her arrival. I think that's it for the most part. So now I'm going to jump into the questions. What's your favorite pregnancy app? I would say between 2. One is the Bump, and that's the one that Tony and I both refer to. So my weekly mark is on Sunday. So every Sunday we kind of spend some time together and read, okay, what to expect this week in the pregnancy, and it also tells you how big she is. So like this week it says that she is big as lettuce. I don't know if you can see that. So we kind of enjoy looking at that on a weekly basis together. It does give you some different articles that you can refer to, but when it comes to I guess pregnancy information, for that app I like Baby Center. It just gives you, I like the format better, and I also like the format of posting weekly bumpy pictures. So they're called bumpies instead of selfies, whatever. But yeah, between the Bump and Babysitter. What food cravings have you had? I haven't really had any food cravings, and like I've said, I've refilmed this video so many times I can't remember if I've mentioned this, but the only real craving that I've had during the first trimester, I literally could have eaten chicken ramen, like the 50-cent packs. I could have eaten chicken ramen every single meal of every day of every week had it not been so incredibly high in sodium and had it actually been a healthy meal. I just crave that like it was nobody's business. Outside of that, I haven't really craved anything weird. Here lately, I've been obnoxiously thirsty and craving a lot of fresh fruit. What's the hardest decision you've had to make yet? It took me a lot to put our registry together. I'm trying to think of any major decisions. We haven't really had any yet. I've just been kind of looking at my apps, talking to friends with children, talking to my mom, talking to my doctor, and it's just been super smooth. We haven't done any major decision making with furniture for the nursery, just because we'll probably be in the process of moving shortly after. So we're not really getting into, you know, like the decor or the painting or anything yet, because we'll be moving, like I said, I think 2 months after the baby arrives. So are you having a natural delivery or will you get an epidural? I'm claiming that I am going to have a natural delivery. I am a firm believer that that a lot of pain management is your mental state. I have a high tolerance for pain, and I've kind of been teaching myself how to better manage pain in different ways to acknowledge pain besides it hurts, that hurts really bad, or ouch, just different ways to think about it so I can prep myself for labor. If for some reason, a medical reason, I have to get a C-section, then I will, but otherwise I'm claiming that I'm going to have a natural delivery. Do I miss drinking? Not really, honestly. The only thing that I miss is Lagunitas IPA, which is a beer. I enjoy craft beers, and my favorite craft beer is just IPA in general, but I don't drink craft beers to get drunk or, you know, to get tipsy or to party or whatever. I drink it for the taste. So more than anything, I just miss the taste of Lagunitas IPA. That's my favorite beer. Is it weird being pregnant? I wouldn't say that it's weird. I've definitely enjoyed this. I know a lot of women, you know, they just don't really enjoy, or they don't really have pleasant experiences. I can attest to that since my pregnancy has just been so smooth. I told my mom at one point I probably could have had one of those like Beyonce pregnancies where no one even knew that I was pregnant until I had the baby. I could have done that if I wanted to, just because I'm so far away from most of my friends and family. They don't see me that often, and it took me so long to show. And I mean, even now, if I wore the right type of clothing, I could probably get away with it for a little while longer. But no, it hasn't really been weird. I have enjoyed every minute of this process. I'm sure I won't be saying this at like the 39-week mark. I'll be like, get this baby out of me. But no, it hasn't been weird. I will say the only thing that is weird is like if I'm going out with friends and we're out, you know, doing something during the day, and then they leave to like go to the club or go to the bar, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go get some tacos and go home now. Are you scared of delivery? I'm not scared of delivery. I would say just the, and not even a fear, just I'm curious about the unknown. I will say that. Just because so many women, and even my mom, they just cannot put into words how labor feels or how delivery feels. So it makes me super curious just because no one can really explain it. But no, I would not say that I'm scared. And the last question, Would you say it was odd to try to get pregnant and you aren't married? That's kind of hard for me to answer just because I was married when we got pregnant. If I had to answer that knowing what I know now for, you know, someone that's not married and maybe they are trying to get pregnant, I would just suggest that you have a very, 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 very solid, consistent, and dependable foundation and support system. Baby girl is not even here yet, and I already know that the foundation is going to be essential. Just because so much goes into raising a child, and even though I've had a super smooth pregnancy, I could not imagine going through this without the support of my husband, going through this, you know, as a single mom, going into this as a single mom. I just could not imagine that. Or even, you know, going through being in an on and off relationship while being pregnant, or going through a breakup while being pregnant. I would say make sure that your foundation is super solid, because stress management while you're pregnant is so incredibly important. And I would not wish the stress of an unstable relationship on anyone. I'm not sure if I really answered the question. That was kind of a tough question, but a good question at the same time. That's all I have for right now. If there's anything that I left out or questions that you have, be sure to leave them down below and I'll get them in the next video. Lastly, let me show you guys my bump. So this is baby girl. She is large and in charge. It would be so awesome if she could give a little kick right now, but she's a little camera shy. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.